match race championship between G.Warren, who was only 23 at the time. His mother and sister came over from Australia to see their very successful young man, and he was a very bright star. He was an overnight sensation. He swept all before him in the second division in the previous year, moved up without any trouble, and here he was, right at the top of the tree, challenging J.Parker for the match race championship. It really was a meteoric rise. '23 was very young then. No silencers in those days, as you can see, straight through exhausts. And that rider there with the dimpled leathers, get a good look at him later on, is Wilbur Lamoureux, the great American pre-war star. And there's Jack being spoken to by Les Marshall. Even Jack looks a tiny bit nervous, but he always maintained he never was. And Graham warming up. The face on the left belongs to, believe it or not, Don Clark, who wrote a Speedway column for the Sunday Pictorial for 26 years. And that's Les, of course, giving Graham a few last-minute tips. And the bikes really aren't so very different from the way they look today. I think you'll be astonished at the size of the crowd here. For this particular event, there was a crowd of 43,000 in that stadium, and I was one of them, standing there with my arms tucked well into my sides. The atmosphere was incredible. And Les hadn't got a very good microphone presence, and I'll never know why he persisted in talking at length on the microphone, but I suppose he thought it essential to introduce them. But there you can see Jack waiting very patiently. Graham covering up his nerves very well. He's a little bit new and he doesn't quite know what to do with himself, not like the old campaigner Parker. He's a little bit self-conscious. They're tossing up, and Jack starts the kidology by looking at the concrete starting grids, and it didn't really make any difference at all. Graham, as you'll see, he thinks he ought to do the same, and he goes out and has a look, but he's not quite sure. That is a magnificent golden helmet, and the Warwick vase, which I do believe today is the trophy for the Junior Championship of Great Britain. It did end in disaster for Graham. He crashed both times, I'm afraid. As you can see, Parker misses the start here, and Graham gets away, but Parker closed the gap, and he kept poking his front wheel on the inside of him, and Graham tried to shut down on him and turned over. The very same thing happened in this race. The shaken Graham was challenging Parker on the inside, and Jack closed him down, and Graham turned over once again, damaged his foot by going into the fence, and it put him out of the league match which followed this, which was against Bradford. But even without Graham, Birmingham beat Bradford 48-36 in the league match, and Wilbur Lamoureux scored a 12-point maximum. Poor old Graham, it all ended ignominiously. It not only put him out of this match, but the following week it put him out of the first test match to be held at